There's some other great news. There was this big case out of the Supreme Court. The decision was announced today, this week, on the Bladensburg Memorial Cross. That cross has been up for decades. It's been around forever. It's been in private property. I think it's a World War I memorial. And Bladensburg, Maryland is just outside the District of Columbia. And it was on private property. The government ended up taking it up, and it's just been a landmark around here forever. And the leftists, anti-religion types, sued to destroy it, have it removed. But let me tell you just how convoluted the court process got. You had, at least in the lower courts, which ultimately, which initially agreed with the plaintiffs to have the cross removed, one of the judges suggested that maybe they can make it compliant with the First Amendment. It's a giant cross. We have pictures of it online. By chopping the arms off. Can you imagine that a federal court judge, or that the state of law on the First Amendment would be allow a federal court judge at the appellate level to suggest tearing the arms off of a cross to our war dead? Well, thankfully, the Supreme Court ruled that the cross can stand up. It can stay. It should remain standing. It should stand up. It's already standing. You know, military sacrifice is made possible, the freedoms we are fighting about. And the idea that we can't put crosses up to honor our war dead and those who have sacrificed for our country is so at odds with the Founding Fathers' vision. I don't know what to say to those who think otherwise. Now, the court decision was okay. It wasn't the best in the world, because there are all these convoluted tests the court has to figure out whether a cross is, or another religious symbol, violates the Establishment Clause. I mean, this is basically what happens. This is what I think the Constitution says. This is what the history is. When our country was founded, our Constitution was set up, states had official religions. And the First Amendment is designed to prevent the federal government from telling states not to do that. And that's been transmogrified by the Supreme Court and activists, and history has been rewritten to suggest that the Establishment Clause prevents any government recognition of religion, and it's simply not the case. Now, unfortunately, there's no majority on the court for that view. There are a few members of the court, like Justice Thomas and others, who kind of explain that. And I encourage you to read the full decision. I mean, the thinking of the kind of the core decision here is that because it's been up so long, it can stay up. I'll take the victory any way we can, but this originalist interpretation really needs to come in, because it's just going to invite more and more litigation on this issue, because the court is afraid to state the truth here. And I'll say one other thing. There were two justices who opposed this, Sotomayor and Justice Ginsburg. So when they talk about political extremism and ideological extremism and being outside the mainstream, those are two Supreme Court justices who wanted to tear down a cross to our nation's honored dead, and whose decision, in my view, would have resulted in going and taking down every cross in Arlington Cemetery. Then that's how radical this approach is. So, thankfully, the Lord gave a majority of the judges the wisdom and discernment to come up with the right decision here. And we were honored to participate in the case because we filed an amicus brief advocating that the Memorial Clause is not a violation of the Establishment Clause. So, some good news.